to the Sunday shift. This is our second in the holiday series, the second of 6 Sunday yoga class, designed just to help us tune in, become aware a bit of our thoughts, our feelings, the physical well-being of our body, and inviting our bodies to make a subtle shift, maybe in how we're thinking, maybe in how we're moving, and to take note of its positive effects for the coming week. So today we're going to shift our focus a bit to our hands, wrists, forearms, shoulders, and mid-thoracic spine. If you work at a desk, as many of my clients do, you might find that you go hours without making big movement shifts within your body, and you become perhaps feeling a little stuck or tight. Those sensations of stiffness might become more apparent at the end of a workday. So these are movement snacks. You don't have to do this whole class. Just a portion of these movement patterns might provide you with some relief. So let's just start with some gentle shoulder circles here. Bringing the shoulders up by the ears, back and down. At the same time, become aware of your breathing, not forcing the breath, but just noticing it. Maybe it coordinates a bit with your movements. I'm going to try to make that breath deeper, broader, wider, and then rest the shoulders. Take a hand to your belly and a hand to your chest. Always good to notice what's moving with your breath. Is it rather shallow just from the chest, or can you feel your belly press out on the breath? As you exhale, can you feel your abdominals draw away from that hand? So naturally you're all breathing at work. However, are you really maximizing the quality, the depth of your breath? Take your hands to your ribcage. Just the deep breathing can help release a lot of tension in your intercostal muscles. Those are the feather-like muscles that line your ribcage. They become rather stiff and tight, which then makes it difficult to rotate. So take a couple of deep breaths into the sides of the body here. Good, one more time. The breath is a foundation for our practice. Great. And then rest the hands to your knees. Just drop one ear gently towards his shoulder. Always move gentle with the neck. It's a sensitive structure for sure. Inhale back up to the center. Exhale, drop the ear over to the opposite shoulder. Pause, breathe there. And bring it back up to the center. And again, right ear to shoulder. You could reach the left hand a little bit away, providing just a little deeper, perhaps sensation there. And then back up to the center. Opposite ear to shoulder. Opposite hand extends away a bit. Good. And then back up to the center. One more time, right ear to shoulder. And then take a little gentle nod here, side to side. So dropping the chin, nose towards the armpit a bit, and then drawing the ear back over the shoulder. Just little input. Bring yourself back up to the center. Do that to the opposite side. So starting just with that same gentle side bend, then introducing just a little subtle movement there. I don't usually do a full head circle. I think that's a lot of hyperextension through the back of the neck. Come back up to the center. And then just gently drop the chin to the chest so you're looking down towards your lap. And bring yourself back up. Good. All right. Finger split. So finger from the other digits, providing a little extension to the joint. And then move to the next finger. And then the next, and just holding 3 to 5 seconds, gentle hold there. Easy to do at your work desk, at your office space. And then do the same thing with the opposite hand. Lace the fingers through. When you think about the posture your hands are in for keyboarding, that palmar surface, the center of the hand, can get really tight and kind of short, flexors of the fingers. So this is just working in the opposite motion to provide a little length to that center of the hand, working our way through to the 4th and to the 5th. And then like we did earlier, take your thumbs, hook them to your rib cage, and flare your fingers away. So we're just stretching the thumbs away from the first finger, a little bit more width in that web space between the thumb and the first finger, a gentle stretch there. Not to mention it's a great place to get back into that breath. So you can use your breath to stretch the web space between the thumb and the first finger. Double bonus. Great. And then give your hands a little shake. Just shake them out. Let the muscles relax. Let the joints be light and loose. And then a little dog paddle. Okay. Easy movements again to do at your desk throughout the day. And then we'll do more of a full stretch here for the forearms, wrists, and fingers. Turning your palms away from you and then separating your fingers as much as you can. Separate that thumb. And just a little pressure here through the forearms, through the wrists, through the fingers. Breathing there, holding there, a few seconds. You can gently move in and out of it a bit. And then release those hands, same thing, give them a little shake. And a little paddle. Good. And then just a few movements. We call these nerve gliding movements for the radial ulnar or medial nerve that exit through that cervical spine and innervate into your shoulders, wrists, and forearms and fingers. So little movements like this. Right now, palms are down. Hold the palms down and work into little finger wrist extension and flexion of the wrist. And these should never cause numbness, tingling, pain. Just do 3 or 4 of them. Bring them back in. Turn your palms up. Press the arms away. Same idea there. Flexing and extending. For the median nerve, often implicated in our carpal tunnel. And then ulnar nerve, it's a little funny, it's like you're making a mask with your fingers. Sometimes they'll call it the Birdman mask. But start with A-OK sign, and then a rotation there through the forearms. And just see how much can you rotate those pinkies around like you're holding a cup of tea. Active pinky fingers, and I tend to be really tight in this movement. Some people can very easily rotate enough to create that Birdman shape. That silly little face with the A-OK signs over your eyes. I'm not quite there yet, and I would not encourage you to force any of these stretches. You don't want to irritate the nerves. We just want to get a sense of them gliding. Give yourself a couple of shoulder rolls here. And then reverse it. Nice. And then bring the palms together, elbows together. And check in with your wrist extension. So when you think about it in yoga, Pilates, exercise class, we can do a lot of weight bearing on our hands. But if we don't have good mobility through the wrist, that can often create So just working your active range of motion. Ideally, we're at more of a T here. Often I find myself more of a Y. I've been working these movements more the past couple of days just preparing for this class. And what do you know, they actually help and increase my range of motion. But then when you go to hands and knees and weight bearing, your wrists are in a much healthier position to manage that weight through the body. So just another easy movement pattern to work a couple of times during the day. Great. Roll those shoulders back. Take one hand to your heart, opposite hand to your belly, and let's warm up our rotation. So big breath in, and as you exhale, rotate in the direction of the hand that's on the heart. The hand that's on the belly, try to keep it stationary. If anything, you feel a little bit of drawing back as you rotate. So the chest is rotating, upper thoracic spine is rotating, gaze, head, neck is gently rotating, but the lower half is staying fixed. And then inhale back to your center. Do that one more time. So you're probably rotating to your right. I'm going to my left. This separate hand is staying gently back, so I'm not bringing my whole body with it. I'm just trying to get that upper rotation of the upper spine. Good. And then back to the center. Opposite hand on the heart. Same idea. Feel centered, feel square. Nice breath in. As you exhale, rotate. Top hand rotates towards the wall. Bottom hand, oblique muscles, have a sense of derotating. They're resisting the twist. Inhale back to the center. One more time, upper chest, heart rotating, body's tall and lifted, lower half staying stable and still. And then return to your center. Good, relax those arms. Switch the cross of the legs, just to mix it up a little bit here. And bring the hands to your knees for a little heart opener. Strong arms pulling back, and start to lift from that upper rib cage, heart, chest again. Bringing the gaze up towards the ceiling a bit, but not so far that we're overextending the neck. I want us to try to enliven, lengthen, invigorate that upper part of our spine in its reverse direction, right? Upper thoracic spine, you can relax there, tends to be that S shape that's a little bit more curled. So now we're asking it for a little bit more extension, using gentle strength through the arms as leverage to lift and to arc your upper back. So initiating an upper body back bend. And then release back down. Bring the hands behind your head. So these little movements can be quite energizing. When you think of your spine, it's this conduit of energy. That energy gets blocked when we're overly flexed, maybe overly arched in the low back. We want to provide just a really nice alignment for that energy of our body to run through head to tail. And when you start to focus on the breath and on the lengthening, you actually do start to feel more energetic. It's like a nice 20-minute cat nap. And then take a little rest one more time. So you've got your hands supporting your head. You're gently pressing your head into your hands. You're opening your elbows, lifting your heart. But this isn't going heavy into the low back. We're just expressing an upper back arch. And then return to the center. Very good. And then option here, you don't have to use a strap, but this third level of extension, have your arms about shoulder width. Begin to extend the arms up. Okay. They'll be apart from the ears a bit, although I could narrow up just a little bit here. And same idea, can you slide the heart up the front of the body? Shoulder blades feel like they're just gently settling down the back. Good. And then add to that a little elbow bend and press it up. One more time there, pulling the strap apart, little elbow bend and keeping that upper back arc of my spine, so I'm a little off the center into extension. And then return to the center. And lower those arms back down. Good. Take the hands now behind you. Hopefully those wrists are fairly warm and they feel comfortable with the fingers extended. If not, you're welcome to make fists here. Take the legs hip width apart and just introduce a little lower body active internal, external rotation of the hips here. Keep that sense of picking up the heart, of picking up the gaze a little bit. And then come back to the center. Heels in line with your sitting bones. We're going to take a reverse plank. Roll the shoulders back. And imagine squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades. So create some energy. Curl your tailbone. Pick your hips up. And find that nice shoulder stretch here. Take some strength. Draw the abdominals in. Use the glutes. And your gaze is going where the wall and the ceiling meet. Check in with any hyperextension of your elbows. I want your arms to be strong, but not hyperextended. And then bend at your hip crease and lower yourself back down. Good. All right. We're going to rewind and do one more set of those heart openers. So if you can remember, switch whatever cross of the legs you had. This feels more awkward, so likely this is where I need to be. Hands to the knees. Inhale, feel that lift, feel the energetic picking up that extends through the lateral seams of the body, the side bodies. And then a little release. Take the hands behind your head, press the head into the hands. Elbows are wide, and again, feel like you're picking yourself up, growing taller, introducing a slight arch or arc of that upper back. We know the low back loves to arch, but can we motivate an arch, a bend of the upper back, and then return it back in? Good. Last one, I'll do it without the strap, but you're welcome to use the strap. Bring the arms up by your ears. A little bit of settling down, shoulders away from ears. Find that sense of lifting, of arcing breastbone, collarbones. Gaze. And then take a little bend of the elbows. And press it back up. And release the arms back down to your sides. Good. One more time of our windshield wipers. Fingers can be forward or they can face behind you, whatever feels best to your shoulders here. Take your hip twist. See if you can still squeeze that pencil slightly between your shoulder blades. Keep a sense of heart lifting, heart opening. And then back to the center, feet are flat. Curl your tailbone and find that reverse plank position. Holding here, breathing here. For 3. Keep spinning that pelvis. So pubic bone towards belly button. Otherwise, we tend to sag down. So I've got to work that energy line to pick up the posterior. And then rest yourself back down. Very good. All right, we'll let that go. Give yourself your little dog paddle and you're shaking it off. And we're looking at eagle arms now. So moving more into that mid-back shoulder blade region. Take the arms out to your sides. Let's cross the left arm under your right. So you've made a bit of an X shape. And then just hug your hands to your shoulders. Okay, this is a good place to start. Feel like your elbows are on an elevator and they can go down and up. Good. And then pause with the elbows in neutral and then see if you can find more of that eagle arm shape. And it may be that you're able to wrap your palms, actively reach the forearms forward. Otherwise, go back to hands on the shoulders and rotate to your right. Release the hands, front hand to front knee, back arm acts as a kickstand. Feel your lift here. So we're back in that original twist. Bring your right arm up by your ear. Take a side bend out and over that left thigh. Hand wraps to the front knee, draw the belly back, let the back round here a bit. And then float the arms up, okay? Good. Let the arms rest back, hands rest back on your shoulders. Take the elevator right here a few times, up and down. Up and down. Check in, head, neck, loose, light, relaxed. Good. If it's available for you, go back to that more X shape. Maybe you can interweave the palms. This time, rotate to your left. Release the hands, use them as light leverage to deepen the twist. Back hand picks up by your ear. We bend out and over that right thigh. Hand wraps, belly pulls back, little C curve. Float the arms back up, eagle arms, elbows reaching away. As you exhale, twist. Release the hands, lift through the crown of the head. Hand lifts by the ears, side bend out and over that left thigh. Hand wraps, belly pulls back, little scoop of the abdominals. Relax the chin. Last time here, float those arms back up. Hands can be on your shoulders, don't force this. You could even just be here, right? That's okay. And rotate. Hands release, you lift energetically the spine. Back arm reaches by your ear. Side bend out and over. Let the hand rest back to the knee, head relaxed. And then pick yourself back up. Great, shoulder circles. Moving hands and knees, so this is a place for your blanket under your knees. If you need a little extra cushion there. Let's find our cat-cow. On the inhale, pull your heart forward. Pull the gaze forward. On the exhale, curl. Let that spine move independently, one of the other vertebra. They're all like hinges. They have the ability to move independent, one of the other. Pulling the heart forward. And this gentle cat-cow movement, it's like WD-40 for your spine. It helps to get the synovial fluid, the mobility restored. Inhaling into that extension. And exhale into your flexion. Then come back into neutral. Think of the work you did earlier for your fingers and wrists. See if you can separate your thumb. Little claw fingers into the mat. And let's floss our shoulder blades a few times. So letting the shoulder blades press away, driving the ground away, strength. Shoulder blades melting, a little bit more of a stretch. And notice here your elbows are staying straight. So we're trying to introduce movement into that mid-back shoulder blade region rather than just bending the elbows and letting the biceps take over. So be very mindful here. You may also consider the energy of your spine here and add a little head ramp. So I'm gently drawing my chin back rather than letting it sag down. Can I keep that head ramp to strengthen through the back of my neck even as I floss my shoulders? Multitasking. Building strength in those muscles surrounding the spine. One more time there. Relaxing the shoulder blades and then driving the ground away. Awesome. All right, we're moving to puppy pose. So extend the hands out in front. This is one for a stretch through the shoulders and mid-back. I want to try to keep my hips at 90. Working to melt my chest through those extended arms. My forehead will come down to the mat,
but I'm still lifting up on my shoulders, lifting up on my elbows. Feels like a lot of work here through the mid-back. It's a very energetic position. Breathing here, allowing the heart to melt towards the mat, but using my strong shoulders, lifting through my shoulders and elbows to make it a more active posture. There is a heart melting in yin, which is more of a passive experience. But for today's practice, I want you to feel the strength in that upper body. And then pick up the head and bring the arms back in and come down to your forearms. Okay, so forearms will be fairly narrow here. And we're going to take a scapular stretch, setting the hips back towards a child's pose. And as I set my hips back, forearms lift, hands come towards the crown of the head, and just breathe here in that little modified child's pose. Again, head, neck, shoulders, pretty relaxed here. I'm not trying to hold my head up. Let it nestle between your hands. Breathe into that back body. Good. Then release the hands back down and setting up for our dolphin. Shoulders, elbows, shoulders are shoulder width apart here. Fists with your hands. Curl the toes under. Draw your shoulders away from your ears and start to lift your hips up. Walking those toes in. Head is heavy. Don't try to hold your head up here. Let it fall down. Feel the strength in that mid-back as you drive the ground away. If you need to, bend the knees a little bit, roll the tailbone up. Can you still draw the belly and the ribs in? Good. And then rest back down to those knees. Make a pillow for your forehead. Set your hips back here in a little child's pose. So let it go. And then bring yourself up. We're going to do those three positions one more time. So puppy pose sounds pretty mild, like a downgrade from your down dog. But the reality is, if you're tight in the shoulders, tight in the back, that puppy pose, it's hard, right? It takes a lot of strength. You may need to widen the arms. You might want to just put those elbows onto the ground. So let's set it up again. You start at your 4-point, reach the arms forward to the front edge of the mat, but then work to try to keep this 90-90 of the hip and knee. So rather than sitting far back, I'm just going to start to melt my chest down. I can widen my arms a bit. You can use a block for your forehead, so you don't have as far to go. That's one option. You could also modify a bit and bring the elbows down. Let the head and chest relax here a little bit. I do encourage you to lift the ribs up, create your abdominal tone. So when you're in your puppy pose, you haven't overly arched your low back. By use of the abdominals, by use of the ribs picking up, we haven't just fallen into a sway back. Breathing there. Great. And then lifting yourself up. For the second portion of our scapular glide here, bring your forearms to a block. Elbows also works well here. As you set your hips back, let the hands come towards the crown of the head. And just find a gentle stretch here, again through the mid-back. Head is heavy. Neck is light. Great. And then release from there for our dolphin pose, which is also reminiscent of our down dog, only on our forearms. So position those forearms shoulder width apart. Drive the ground away, lift the abdominals and ribs in, and then pick up those hips. Adjust the feet to the level that works for you. Let the head be heavy. Reach the tailbone to the sky. Can you feel that line of energy from the head through the tail? The spine as the conduit for that energy that runs through your body. Great. And then rest those knees back down. You can take a little child's pose, bringing the hands back to the feet. Let the head relax here. And then set yourself back up. Okay. So let's move on to our stomach now for a little prone extension. Hands are by your shoulders. Low cobra, all 10 toes on the mat. Find that pencil again and squeeze it between your shoulder blades. Draw the heart, the gaze forward. Elbows hug towards the midline. Little grasshopper legs here, like your elbows. Lower yourself back down. We'll do that again. Start with the chin a little bit tucked. So as you lead, you're leading through the crown of the head, and then gradually unfold that and just find the neutral position of the neck. So we haven't hyperextended, we're not overly flexed. Right in the middle there, holding that straight line, and lower yourself back down. One more time, feel the pelvis gently press into the mat, elbows hug in. Find that lengthening, find that extension. Pausing, breathing here for 3, and 2, and 1, and then rest it back down. Good. All right. Prop up onto your forearms. So Sphinx position. It's a nice place to reintroduce that idea of shoulder blade gliding, of flossing there. So do that a few times, pressing the ground away and bringing it back in. Driving the ground away, protraction of your shoulder blades, lift the ribs and belly, and then let it relax a bit. One more time, press the ground away, pause there. Feel the pelvis gently press towards the mat, belly lift away, ribs draw in, and a traction of the elbows back. So this is not a passive position. A lot of energy in both directions here, reaching, lengthening, creating space, and then rest it back down. Okay. We'll do a T-shaped shoulder stretch. The arms begin out at your sides. Find your right palm onto the earth. Pick up the right leg, and just very gently start to roll towards that left outstretched shoulder. Your foot can rest. You don't have to go far here. You can just kind of introduce the movement. Find what your shoulder tolerates. And breathe there. Finding a pec stretch, chest stretch a bit here. And then return to your center. Opposite side, both arms outstretched, left hand comes in. Gently press, rotate. Breathe. And if it's too much pressure, keep it a lot smaller, right? I could just kind of initiate here the movement without picking my leg up behind and reduce the amount of force through my shoulder. And then come back down to your start. Bend your right knee and take your right hand to that foot. Press your foot into your hand. Create some energy there, pressing the leg away from you. And then a little release. 2 more times. Press away, draw your belly in and the pelvis gently down. And release 1 more time. Press. and release. Return that right leg home. Left knee bend. Take hold of that foot and check in that your knee is in line with your body. It likes to scoot out to the edge of the mat. Bring it in line with the outer edge of your body. And then press that foot into your hand. Create some muscular energy. And release. 2 more times. And press. And release. Keep spiraling the pelvis to the mat. Press. And release. Relax that leg. We're going to put 2 of those movements together. So upper body, low cobra, right knee bends, right hand finds its way to that foot. As you press the foot into your hands, little upper body arc of the back. Breathe there, hold there. I've got energy of my foot pressing away into my hand, my heart pulling forward. And then rest that back down. Opposite side, left hand to left foot. Center up that knee. Find the float of the upper body. Press into your hand. Pull your heart forward. Breathing there for 3. And 2. And 1. And then rest it all back down. So that's kind of the beginner introduction into what would be your boat pose. A little bit more advanced, but it helps to open up the whole front line of your body. From there, take a little child's pose. So press yourself up, curl your belly in deep to you here, and then slowly start to stretch yourself back by lifting through the abdominals. So you create a little bit of low back flexion there. Back is working in extension. We're going to counter it with a little bit of flexion. Good. And then bring yourself forward for plank. Hands under shoulders, knees under the hips. Separate those fingers, spiral the elbow creases forward so you feel open and strong through your shoulders. Curl the toes under and then press yourself up to down dog. And just reflect for a moment here in your down dog. The puppy pose, the dolphin pose, and our down dog, all kind of in a similar family of upper body strength, stretch, allow the head to be heavy, get the tailbone lifting, belly picking up, ribs picking up. Lift the heels and bend the knees. Step forward to the front edge of your mat. Find a halfway lift here. So let's pause in that long line. A little chin ramp so the back of the neck is long. Spine allows fluid energy, head to tail. And then exhale, take a forward fold. From the ground up, inhale, drive up. And look to those thumbs overhead. And then hands to your heart. Great. All right. Here in standing, a nice little upper body arm check-in for the range of motion of your arms and shoulders, as well as a bit of the spine. Start by bringing the arms overhead and take hold of your elbows. Elbows are kind of a nice way to hook on. If that's not available to you, you could just hold forearms and just be there for a minute. Return the arms down and this time clasp them behind your low back. Again, maybe hands find elbows, maybe it's just the forearms. Sweep the arms up overhead, hook the hands to your elbows, and this time take a side bend. Bring yourself back up, side bend opposite, and bring yourself up. Take the hands to your low back, side bend in one direction, and find center, and side bend opposite, and center. Sweep the arms up overhead. This is getting familiar. Find rotation this time. So rotate. Remember that twist we did earlier. It's not about turning the whole body. We're just finding thoracic rotation. Upper back,
Inhale back to the center. Exhale, rotate. And back to the center. Do the same thing now with the arms low, internally rotated. Twist to one side. Just a little different experience. Come back to the center. Rotate to the opposite side. And center. Nice work. One more time. Sweep the arms up overhead and just take a gentle arc, a lift of that back body. Bring the arms down behind your hips. Clasp the hands. Reach down. Pick the heart up. Little pencil between the shoulder blades. And then relax those arms, okay? So that comes from Yogi Jenny Rollins. Look her up on Instagram. She has a lot of great exercise movement snacks that might help your shoulders. Another one that she does here, we're going to do at least one set of just a shoulder sun salutation. So at the front edge of the mat, inhale, sweep the arms up into extension. As you exhale, bring the hands behind the head and find a halfway lift, forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms out in front. Turn the palms out, swim stroke them back behind you. Maybe your hands can clasp, reach them long. Take a forward fold, head heavy, arms high. Good. Release into that flat back again. Let go of the hands. Sweep them back overhead. Back to behind your head. Press your head into your hands and stand back up. Arms at your sides. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bend. Inhale, reach the arms. Turn the palms out, sweep them back behind you. Hands might clasp. Take a forward fold, head heavy, arms high. Find what suits your shoulders, your body. Bend into those knees, find your flat back again. Try to lightly release those hands. Sweep them back overhead, hands behind your head, and stand back to your start, arms at your sides. Good, just roll those shoulders back. Here might be a place for blocks. We're going to move to a little lunge. So keeping hip width apart, step back with the left foot, and then slowly lower that knee down to your mat or blanket. Inch your right foot forward a bit, so you've got a pretty wide stride length. Right hand on right knee, and just let the left arm swing a little bit here. Just back and forth. Even make maybe a little circle here. Nice loose shoulder. Reverse. Good. Find the lifting of the abdominals, the dropping of the tailbone a bit, and then bring that left arm up and sweep it across your body. So it's as if I'm peeling the shoulder blade around the chest wall, and then back to the center. Do that again. Sweep the arm, but I haven't rotated the pelvis. I'm still pretty square ahead with my hips. And sweep across and return. One more time here. Sweep across and return. Good. Bring those hands down. Frame your front foot. Curl your back toes under and just give yourself a little straight leg extension. Knee bends. We haven't really worked into the hips much today, but this is a point where we can feel a little strength and stretch there as well. Good. Rest the back knee down. Let's just switch legs. So right foot comes back, left foot moves forward. Create a nice stride length, so plenty of space between that front and back leg. And now on the right arm, just let it swing. Easy, breezy. A little circle here. And reverse. And then bringing the arm up, start to rotate across your body with that right shoulder blade reaching, and return. And cross the body, and return. One more time there, and cross. Actually, we'll do two more. I think we did 4 on the opposite side. So feel that protraction, expansion through the side of the body. You should feel pretty good there. And then release. Bring the hands back down. Take a couple of the knee extensions. So just lifting, reaching through that back heel. Down and up a few times. Nice. And then rest that back knee down. Bring your front foot back to meet it. And we'll move to a kneeling position here. So a lot of this front body opening, when we did our quadricep stretch, when we did our Sphinx pose, our low cobra, it's all been about opening up this front line of the body, which at work often comes down to here. So it takes strength, it takes energy, it takes making adjustments in these patterns to try to find that more lifted position. But it takes us to a pose called camel pose, which is the initiation of a back bend or wheel, kind of a semicircle. We don't have to go that far today. Curling your toes under is a nice place to start. Dropping the tailbone down the back, lifting the belly and the heart up the front helps to initiate, again, a little upper body back bend. Bring your hands towards your back pockets and gently press the hips forward as you think of curling and lifting that front body up. And take some breaths here. Find what your body can tolerate in terms of neck extension. It may just be a lot more subtle, and that's fine. And then release and just drop down hips to heels. We'll do that one more time. You could take a block between the inner thighs. You could actually also take a block around the feet. This might help you stabilize that low body a bit. And again, hands come back by the hips. Keep lifting, elongating through the heart, through the chest, through the chin, through the gaze. Hug into that midline. And eventually, and it may not be for you today, you work into more of that full expression of camel. And then release. Let go of the blocks. And just take a little child's pose. So feet together, knees apart, and set the hips back. Meet me in all fours. So hands under shoulders, knees under the hips. Let's just take a little thread the needle here. My left arm's going out to the side. Drive through that right arm to shine the heart across the room. Thread the needle under. Your ear comes down towards the earth. And just pause there. Again, this is similar to when we reached across our body in that lunge shape. You can kind of feel that shoulder blade getting a nice wrapping around the body. Use your hand again to pick yourself back up. We'll go to the opposite side. Right arm extends. First, find your rotation. It's not a heavy hip rotation. It's upper thoracic spine again, our theme. And then lace the arm underneath. Bring that right ear down to the mat. Pause there, breathe there. Great. And then pick yourself back out. Very nice. All right, come to a seated position. With your block, one nice little movement pattern here, and you could use probably any object. It's just a matter of exploring the range of motion through the fingers, wrists, elbows, shoulders. I call it a halo, or it was introduced to me actually, again, Jenny Rawlings, as a halo movement. So 3 or 4 in one direction, and then reverse that. One more time. Great. And then rest the arms back down. Move onto your back. Keep the block or the strap handy. And we'll do pullovers. So holding on to that block, just allow the arms to reach back behind. So there was a lot of movement patterns that I've introduced to you in this workout. Some you might want to go back and review them. You don't have to do the whole class again, but just pick out portions that seem useful. As you do these pullovers, notice now, can your shoulder range, can you move in a range that doesn't create back arcing, ribcage flaring? I can just tell that my shoulder range is much better at the end of those movement patterns. My rib cage feels heavy, my spine feels long and stable, my arms can move further back without any sense of modifying or arching into those ribs. Good. And then bring it all back through. All right, so there was one more segment, and I know we're going a little long here, but find a blanket if you have one. I think I might just use my block. A blanket would probably serve better. But you're going to go to sideline for a little bit of rotation here of the upper body. So knees over knees, thighs of equal length, and towards your chest. Have those knees bent up close towards your chest. Top arm's going to start to lift. And again, here's a really nice way to introduce a little thoracic spine rotation while the lower body stays stable. The technical term is disassociation. So the upper body is disassociating itself from the lower body. We're staying stable and strong through the lower half. You could also, if this is too much for your shoulder, just go to a bent elbow. Support the head a little bit. So these movements can be exploratory in nature. It's not necessarily do it this way or not at all. You can adapt. Great. And then the final one here would be a clock. So if my hands are starting at 3 o'clock, they're going to walk up towards 12 o'clock. A little bit of rotation of the heart of the chest, but try to keep your fingers in contact with the ground. Only go as far as you can keep the hand in connection with the earth. Just try that one more time. Great. And then bring it back home. Let's sit up and do the opposite side. So a block or a pillow, a blanket, just to support your head in better alignment. My head's a little low. If I just go straight to the ground, I can work from there. This might be a little high, actually. Some place in between would be ideal. But just make sure the head and neck feel very comfortable. Start picking up that arm. Let your gaze follow the hand. And the thigh bone is staying level with the bottom thigh. And close it back up. Okay, I call these open books. So maybe you can't, at your business office, lie down on the ground and do these, but we did similar movements seated. Remember when we brought the chest around to one side, but we kept the belly forward? Same idea. We'll do one more. Your home office, I bet you could do this. Good. And then back in the center, we did our clocks. So arms reaching out, maybe at 9 o'clock, climbing up to 12 o'clock, and then carrying around. Okay, so your palm turns up there. So you've got external rotation in the shoulder, and then you return back. One more time. And returning back. And again, be mindful, numbness, tingling, undue strain, those are not good signs, and you don't want to push through anything like that. So reduce the movement, just rest, find what works for your body. All right, so let's finish up here on your back with bridging. And we've talked about throughout class opening up this whole front line of the body. We've also discussed getting a bit of an arc of that upper back. So the bridge is a nice way to put all those pieces together. Have your knees about fist width apart, heels fairly close into your backside, wherever they're comfortable. And then start to curl your tailbone and keep thinking of rotating your pelvis here. Okay? Keep rotating pubic bone to belly button. Keep rotating. That'll really help you activate the low belly muscles, and you'll be less likely to just be hanging from your back and using your tush with a lot better engagement there. Working through that sinking of the belly a bit, sinking of the ribs, and then scoot your shoulders underneath you and bring your hands underneath your backside so you're getting a little bit more of a shoulder stretch here. The center of your head is resting heavy on the earth. Shoulders are drawn slightly underneath you, feeling a little retraction of your shoulder blades. Feet are level, hips are lifted. Breath is full. And then lower yourself back, down. Good, all right. One little restorative posture that I want to share with you. You can get blocks off of Amazon for about $10 for a pair. If you set your blocks up, the one around your shoulder blades at about half height, the one behind your head at full height, this is a movement that again will help release the shoulders a little bit. So I'm going to place this block right around the edge of my shoulder blades, and then I'm going to make sure that my head and neck don't have undue stress and too much extension. Feels pretty comfortable. You could bring your feet, soles of the feet together for a little butterfly shape. Arms could extend out to your sides. Close the eyes and just take some breaths here. You might have to make little adjustments. This is similar to resting on your foam roller. In fact, this lower block, you could use a foam roller in place of it, but you still want to make sure your head and neck is supported. Pause here and breathe here. If you don't have blocks at home, sometimes pillows or bolsters will work for you. Otherwise, just take your Shavasana on your back. This posture is also good at the beginning of class or just during the day, 3 or 4 minutes. As it just changes the force of gravity, pulls the shoulders back, it naturally lifts the heart. Nice job.
You may want to bring a hand back behind your head to assist yourself in picking up the head and neck. Okay, roll those shoulders back. And just close your eyes for a minute. Notice your energy. Notice your thoughts, your feelings. Notice any physical sensations. And then bring your hands to your heart. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Thank you for setting aside time today to practice. I hope through the process that you've created a subtle shift that will have very positive effects in the coming weeks. Namaste. Thank you, friends. I hope you feel well, and we'll check back, get together again next Sunday.